Hey guys, what's up? This is the Not Enough Hip Hop YouTube channel. This is where we talk about everything there is to talk about within the genre. From album reviews, to tracks by themselves, to artists, to their background stories, beefs, anything there is to talk about, we talk about it here. So if that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. So like I promised last week, we're going to do an album review of Dave's debut album, Psychodrama. So let's just get started with the review. So what a psychodrama is when somebody reenacts a traumatic experience in order to overcome it, obviously with the help of a therapist. And that is what Dave does throughout the album. There's a couple skits in there with him talking to a therapist, and the album is an incredibly personal account of Dave growing up on the south side of London, going through all these traumatic experiences, which we presume Dave is acting out with the therapist. So with all that context, we're gonna get started with track 1, which is Psycho. So if you guys didn't watch my previous video, which is linked below, there's no secret about this. I love the intro. Dave just delves into everything in his past. I won't delve into it too much into this video, just because I talked about it so much in my previous video. It's just such a good song, and it is literally the definition of an intro, especially an intro on a debut album, which there's not much people who know who you are. You get an introduction to who Dave is, what he's about, his rapping style, and just basically what you're gonna get from him for a large part of the album, which is crazy bars, accompanied with dope content, accompanied with pretty decent beats with good flow. So what is there not to like about it? He's really flexing his muscles, and he's just showing you what he can do on the mic. He has some really good bars in it, but like again, if you want to hear more about this track, check my last video out. But we're gonna hop into the second track, which is Stretham. And boy, oh my gosh, bro. Like, this track is just, the beat bumps, and it's just like, it makes you feel like you're there when you're listening to it. He's really good at painting a picture visually of what is going on around you. And I'm not saying he's saying, oh, I walked down the street and then there was a patch of grass here. No, he just, in the most simple way, he describes pretty much the situation. The hook for the track says,
look, I grew up in Streatham. Teachers were giving man tests. Same time the man them were giving out testers.
In case you don't know what that is, a tester is like a little bit of drugs that a drug dealer would give you to get you hooked, and then the next one you pay for it. So when he was growing up as a youngin', there was lots of gang violence, drugs all around him. And that line just pretty much epitomizes that. It juxtaposes the dangers of drug life and street life with the innocence of youth, of just doing a test at school. I love the flow on the track too. Even though it is the same flow that he uses in the chorus, it doesn't really bother me too much because it sounds so good. And then towards the last third of the track, when it gets a little bit stale, he switches up his flow, which I enjoyed. I do like the fact he raps really clearly, you really understand what he's saying, and yeah, sometimes that's what you need. And especially when you're spitting bars like these, you need them to come across clearly to the listener. So none of the mumble rap stuff. No, just kidding. Streatham, great track. It's another like must listen to pretty much if you want to get into it. Now, his next track on the album is Black, and again, I talked about this song in my last video, Why is Dave Important? So please watch that to get my full thoughts about the track. But what I'm going to say here is that this song really epitomizes what is so good about Dave, and that is storytelling. And storytelling can be done in various ways. One of the things I really like about Dave, he explains things that you wouldn't know unless you were the protagonist of that story. And that shows you that he's really good at explaining his circumstances in a way that pretty much anybody else can understand. An example of this is the bar when he says,
our heritage been severed, you never got to experiment with family trees. Could they teach you about famine and greed and show you pictures of our fam on their knees?
If you were a person that wasn't black, I don't think you would fully understand the ramifications that the slave trade has had till today. And some people think that, oh, it happened so long ago, or does it impact you now? But like Dave was just saying, a lot of people don't know where they come from because the family trees were severed by slavery to this day. Great track by Dave, and you just gotta listen to that track, bro. The first 3 tracks of the album are super solid. First track being Psycho, crazy track, really introduces you to who he is. Second track, you got Stress Him, introduces you to where he's coming from. And the third track, which is Black, which is just basically Dave talking about the black experience, something that he goes through every day as a black man. And now we got the fourth song, which is Purple Heart. And boy, coming from the first three tracks to this one, it's a steep drop. It's not a good song. I don't really like it at all. Something I'm definitely be skipping now I'm done this album review. I don't want to listen to it anymore. It's basically a really bad love song. This is by far like the worst part of the whole album right here. Girl, I can't lie. You're a gem and I ain't even talking about the star sign. What is that? Like, yo, I'm lost for words, bro. Like, that is just trash. Definitely not a good track. So we're gonna skip on to the next song, which is Location. Now, this is definitely a popular rap song with Burna Boy pretty much carrying the whole track. Dave did his thing on it. Nothing too crazy, but I enjoyed the song. It's a nice summertime song that you can drive around to, especially since it's warming up now. I really like Burna Boy on it, and I think I'm gonna check out his music. I really enjoyed the track. I like that Dave is being versatile. I didn't think he killed it per se, but it's good to experiment, and I hope that he plays with the sound a little bit more because it's a nice palate cleanser between tracks to make sure the album doesn't feel too stale. Then we've got the next track called Disaster. It has a feature with J Hus when Dave and J Hus keep trading bars back and forth on it. I didn't really like it all that much. I don't think J Hus or Dave had the chemistry on that track, especially with those kind of tracks where you trade bars back and forth. You really have to make sure the chemistry is on point between you two guys. And I just didn't really feel it. And also the hook was a little weak, and the production on that track wasn't that good, in my opinion. So I want to keep it moving on to the next one. The next track we got is Screwface Capital, which I love. One of my favorite tracks on the album. I just love how grimy and dirty it feels, and it's just one of those tracks that you have to play in the wet with your boys, bass blasting, windows rolled down, just mobbing out. The next song on the album is called Environment. Didn't really like it too much, kind of a dry track in my opinion. Nothing to write home about. Everything he talks about on this track, he's talked about earlier on the album at this point, and also the production is not that good on this track. So much of the album has piano beats in it, so by the time you get toward the tail half of the album, you're almost tired of hearing that same kind of beat. Dave doesn't deliver it in a unique way. He doesn't switch anything up on this track. So this is another track I'll be skipping for sure. We got the next track called Leslie, and okay, so the reason I had that reaction is because Leslie is a track about domestic abuse. And of course I'm not minimizing domestic abuse at all, but music for me is first and foremost entertainment. And so as much as I like songs about real issues, it has to be delivered in an interesting and entertaining way. And this track just doesn't really do it. It's a long song. It's 12 minutes long with pretty much the same harp looping over and over and over again. That wasn't interesting within the first minute. It does have a twist in the story that Dave is telling. And so like it's kind of cool, I guess, to listen to it one time. But after the first listen, it's not really a track that I'm ever going to go back to. Yeah, I just don't think Leslie was done really that well. He should have shortened the song a lot more, picked a completely different beat, and he could have told that story within 3 minutes. It would have been a better track that would have had a lot bigger impact if it sonically sounded better. Hopefully that wasn't too harsh. So we're going to the next track, which is Voices by Dave, and this song sonically sounded out of place to me. Personally, wasn't a huge fan of this song. Again, I like the fact he's playing with the sound. His singing didn't sound too bad on it to me, but it was kind of a forgettable track. So I gotta keep it moving on this one. So yeah, Voices is not really a track for me. Now we've got the last track on the album, which is Drama. First one being Psycho. Last track on the album, Drama. Rounding out the album. And this was a pretty good outro. I enjoyed it, especially when he talked about the issues where he has with his brothers and his family, and particularly how his brother's mistakes affected him. I'm the oldest brother in my family, so I definitely can relate to that. It sounded almost like my younger brother was talking to me through that song. When you're the oldest, you carry a weight on your shoulders. And when you make a mistake, it impacts everyone beneath you. And Dave was expressing that on the tracks. That really touched me. It was a pretty good way to round out the album. I enjoyed it. But yeah, 2 thumbs up for that song. I enjoyed it. So now that we've run through every single track on the album, my overall review for this album is 6 out of 10. Well, I know that you guys are probably a little shocked I made a whole video about why Dave is important last week. I was super excited about it. Why would I rate the album so low? Pretty much because some of the songs, especially the first 3, were super good. They were really, really good. If we continued to win an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 album. But towards the end, as you can tell, it kind of falls apart a little for me. And there's a large chunk of the album that I won't be touching after this review. And so I'm gonna keep it honest. Not to say that Dave is a bad artist. I think he has a lot of potential, especially for a debut album. It was a very solid project. Not every debut can be Good Kid, Mad City. So I think that it is a good album. It is one worth listening to, especially if some of the tracks that I've explained have piqued your interest. I'm definitely looking forward to what he has coming down the pipeline in the future. Dave is definitely one of the artists that is now fully on my radar. That's it, guys. We are done the album review. So, and if you like the album, let me know. If you dislike the album, let me know in the comment section below. I'll be right there with you guys. But until next time, I'll see you guys then.